Hi, it's Melissa. Welcome to Messy Missy Creates. I'm trying to finish this journal, or at least get the cover done. I actually changed my mind about 5 times since I started that video and was so sure as to what I was going to do. Now we have a box of Life cereal. I'll tell you what I did real quick. I had cut this. I was very happy with it. I went back and watched my video on how I did the July video, or the July journal, and because I was trying to remember how I got the spine so small, because the Triscuit, anyway, and I remember what I did, and I cut it shorter basically. I cut this shorter, and then just this fold. By the time I added scrapbook paper on both sides, you couldn't even tell that fold was there. So what I had started to do, and I like the idea, I just don't know if I'm gonna use it for this journal. So I went and made a few score lines here, and I made a lot of little score lines so that it kind of rounds the spine right there. But so this would give us about a 3/4 inch spine, and then instead of cutting this back flap, now keep in mind that's not going to fold right there, but instead of cutting that back flap, I did about 3 score lines right here so that it would fold over, and you could make an enclosure, well, I could make an enclosure right here. So I was happy with that. In the meantime, I was making some final decisions on paper, and I found this. I decided to scrap the wrapping paper idea. Just along the lines of, I really didn't like it. I was trying to push something to work that I really didn't want. It just wasn't, I wasn't feeling it. So anyway, this is the do what I want and not what I need to use version of me journaling. So wrapping paper gets scrapped, donated, whatever. If I don't like it, if I like it, it's going back in the tote and going back in the shed till next year. So, but in the meantime, I had made this welcome January, welcome 2023. I cut those on I Got a New Brother scan and cut for Christmas. I can't wait to show you. It's pretty cool. And I mean, it only took me it took me 2 minutes to cut these out, maybe. And, well, it's going to take me longer than that to straighten them. Anyway, fit perfect, right? I'm thinking, all right, I'm on to something. Here we go. Fits perfectly on the front of the journal. I did something I almost never do. I pre-cut the paper so that I'd have everything ready for the video. And then I realized this was too big for, I'm going to have some binding right here on the spine, and then look what happens to this flap when I close it. So that just really, I don't want it. I liked it just like this. I tried to see if I could cut off this E and the Y and let them jump the track, and I realized, nope, working too hard to make something work that isn't going to work. Now, I'm not getting rid of this. I will use it. I think right now I just need to make about 5 journals just to get rid of some stuff. 5, 50, I don't know. So anyway, I went to the next size up box. I already had this on my standby, and it measures, well, I should know this because I cut it down to 7, and that gives me a little bit of room now I'm not going to have anything over here, so that's not a big deal. It gives me enough wrap room to wrap around my spine for any kind of, whether I cover it in paper or tape. I'm thinking this white tape I have right here. Anyhow, so that's how I came to those changes. And I had decided that I was okay with, I still didn't need this big of a spine, but I'm using it. It's okay. So I'm going to cover this. I didn't have enough. Let's see, I cut this one at 6.5, so that meant this was what does that make that, 5.5? And I could use it to piecemeal the back and then just put a bigger piece of tape there, but I have this oh, I went down a big squirrel rabbit hole something. I'll show you what I did real quick. And this is going to be for another journal, another video. But I found a paper pad that I've had for a long time, and I keep looking at this cover and going, I don't like it. Well, truth be known, I apparently am not very fond of this one piece of paper in here. But some of the other papers I kind of like. Or they might not be I reach for them all the time. But there's some pretty, I love this Argyle sweater look. But I like some of these papers. And especially like if you're doing any kind of, well, some of them are real good for like a masculine card or journal or whatever. But some of them are just good. The jewel tones in here, like these, I really was reaching for these for January a little bit. And then I got to this and I thought, well, okay, I know what I'm doing next month. So that was that rabbit hole, and I'll show you these letters later. But these were the pages that I came up with, and I was about 2 seconds away from using them for my January journal. But I already had this little snowflake material, this snowflake paper, and I really like these fun colors, fun to me colors. So that's the 10-minute version or 5-minute version of how I ended up right here. But this piece of paper came from that pack, and I think I like it for the back. So that's what we're doing. Because it's my journal, right? And I'm just not, I'm not going to use papers I don't like. So I think I have everything out here I'm actually not going to cut this until I glue it on. That gives me some wiggle room. These I'm going to, because they don't stand out that great on that paper. I'm probably going to edge those like with a marker or ink or maybe some white block across this. Anyway, I'll cross that bridge when I get this far. I don't have a room a craft room. I have rooms. I don't have a craft room that has a door. And yesterday I was going to try to film this, but it just wasn't working out. My husband's watching TV right behind this wall, and unless I did a voiceover, I was going to end up with copyright strikes of NFL music and Star Wars and whatever else. So I couldn't have that in the background. And I really just didn't want to have to voice over this whole thing. I don't mind doing some, but if you've ever done a voiceover, at least the editing software that I have, you have to do it kind of blind. Meaning that I can't see where in the video I am when I'm talking. Almost felt like I didn't even get any glue on it. So, how was your New Year's? Or how was your New Year's Day, rather? Because it's still technically the New Year, right? We had a good day. Yeah, this table definitely is more wobbly. My niece, I told you that in the last video, my niece has been coming over and she's, trying to help me. Basically, she's my extra pair of hands and extra pair of feet because you know, things just take me so much longer to do these days than they used to. Because I can only carry like one thing at a time. So if you're trying to move a room or redo your craft room or whatever, it's, you know, that would take me the rest of the year. I'll come back with probably a fingernail file and get that. Let's see. All right, yay, we have a partial cover. I guess I should do the back before I totally decorate it. And yes, I almost did just use this, but I figured that was not quite January specific enough. I think I've been waiting for an excuse to use that paper, and in Florida there just aren't that many days to use it, so I must have cut this one here short. Not quite 7 inches, and I think this is 9 1/4. So actually I ended up with a bigger book than I planned on, and it might because I'm just using 9 by 6 sheets, so I'm still only gonna have 6 inches that way. No, 9 by 12 when I fold them. Oh heck, I don't know, we'll see. We'll find that out in a minute. Here's my cutter. I'm gonna cut this down to 7. Probably from this side. Let's see. Yeah. Maybe, maybe not. I didn't tear off that little tab right there, so it's longer than 12 inches on that one side. All right, where's my 7 inches? Here we go. There you are. Whew, made a decision and stuck with it. Wow. Well, stuck with the 8th decision. I don't know about you, but I just get so lost in my head. I hate the word obsessed, but I guess if the shoe fits, wear it, or if the diagnosis fits, wear it, huh? That's just me. I overthink everything, which ends up making me not do things, even fun things, because I overthink them to the point that I just say, oh well, and don't do it. Let's see. That might have been the way I should have done the first one. But second time is a charm, right? There we go. Hey, what do you know? It worked. I don't have a bone folder out here. I have that. Oh. This is not ideal videoing place in my house. This table is not ideal, but it's the space that I have right now. My craft table for the last 1.5 years has been my kitchen table, and that's part of why she's helping me do some of this rearranging, because, well, I need my kitchen table back actually. So let's see. I still haven't decided totally. Well, I'm bumping the table, I'm bumping the camera. I think I'm going to use this. It's just white duct tape. It's not ideal. I never did get any bookbinding tape. Because I had duct tape. I could use this. I mean, it's the same as the back, but that doesn't really matter, right? Let's see. Really, I just need, I cut this paper before I knew I was going to use this bigger box. So that actually works. And then I probably will still use the tape. Yeah, of course, it's not quite. Yep, I'm gonna use this. Bring back out the cutter. So, did you have a good holidays, Christmas, New Year's? Tell me all. Did you get crafty stuff for Christmas? Let's see. I'm gonna give about a 1/4 of an inch on each side. Actually, I'm gonna do more than that. I'm gonna cut it 3 inches. We did. We had a good Christmas. Had a good, it was just my husband and I Christmas morning, well, at the house, and we went and saw his parents, and we do Christmas Eve with my family. We always have, or when I say my family, I mean my siblings. My parents aren't here anymore. You know, they've passed years ago, both of them. And we've kind of carried on. You know, I have several siblings. Several meaning I'm the youngest of 8. They're not all here. Some are half sisters, some are whatever, but they're all siblings to me. They are all one and the same. Don't tell them I said that, because, you know, some of them might take, I don't want to say take offense to that. I don't mean that. I was just joking around. Yeah, that doesn't look so great with that, but I think it'll be okay with this. I don't think I want to cover as much of that. Oh, come on, put some glue and paper on this box and let's go. It is January 2nd now. I really wanted to start this sooner. I have great intentions. I'm sure everybody else does too, right? But life, right? Other things happen. And I don't think it really matters. How exact that is. I can trim it on both ends. Look at me using paper. Yay. Whoop. Look at me ungluing paper. Okay, I'm gonna have to break out a little shot of art glitter glue here. This is, when I was at Maymay's last time, I picked this little bottle up. I like this little bottle. It's easier for me to, handle. And it doesn't have the finest tip on it. Well, I guess I should have unclogged it. Okay, scratch that. I'm gonna see if I can use this. This is just Elmer's Craft Bond. It has a precision tip. I found it in my, oops, whoa. Okay, I'm obviously used to the fine tip. Boy, that is very wet. Let me shake that up. Wet meaning like watery wet. I don't want too much wet on here. I'm just trying to tack the places that I missed with the glue. Or the glue stick, rather. Did not think past the outside cover. And therefore I did not. Well, when I was using the wrapping paper, when I was still going with that plan, I knew what I was going to put on the inside. And I thought, all right, I made a decision. And then I went to go do it. And all right, I've unmade a decision. Okay, Elmer. You letting me down there. That almost looks like water. And I probably should have let it dry. I'm used to how fast art glitter glue dries. So we're going to burnish that in pretty well and then I guess we'll just have to let it dry. What a thought. Burnish it a little bit, and then I need to score it. Need to rescore the back so that that paper bends as well. Anyway, don't mind me, I'm just redoing things. So what are your journal journal ambitions for the new year? What are your... Okay, this is gonna be a little noisy if I have to move this thing. Yep, just like that. What are your journal goals for this year? I have not really set any other than I'm trying to make this one journal. Sorry about that noise. This is a paper scorer and a cutter. So I just wanted to see if I could rescore these and it would catch that paper behind it. Nope, not gonna work this way. Anyhow, I have not really done this officially yet, but before now, but I am wanting to, because there is a word that has been ringing in my ear for a little while now, and I'm wanting to kind of make the commitment, I guess, make something the word of the year. And come on, stay on the right. There we go. Now we cook them with Crisco. Nope, I jumped track again. Darn it. So I have come up with a word for the year. I'm not going to tell you just yet. I haven't 100% decided how I'm going to use this word of the year. And I really had a hard time with one word and using it all year because, you know, that sounds like a really big decision, right? And we've already decided that I don't do decisions well. And so, I'm trying to think of how I would break that down. Anybody else use a word of the year, and how do you use it? Meaning, is it something that a theme in your journal that you use every day? Or I honestly was considering doing like a word of the month, or maybe having that one word for the year, but yet divide it up into monthly. Like, this is where it applies to my life this month. This is where it applies, you know, to my life this month and that month. And it was just a thought. I really hadn't, other than cutting out the letters for it. Okay, see, this is what happens when you don't let your glue dry. Man, I'm so art glitter glue spoiled. Yeah, Elmer's gonna go somewhere else. Again, life is too short for bad glue. Yeah, it's too short to wait for glue to dry. And why, when you don't have to? So I'm gonna pause here because apparently I need to let this glue dry a little longer. And actually, I want to see this first. Okay. Now, see, that can jump that track and it's fine. So do you like the welcome January? Oop, January. On this Brother Scan and Cut, you can just you know, say you want it this big or this big. You can give it the dimensions, and I did it 6 inches because I thought I was going to have plenty of room. And as you can see, I even went up an inch on this, and it's still barely barely fits. So, do you like the January 2023 or welcome 2023 and then January? I'm thinking this, although, you know, when I cut that out and I put the welcome on the front, I thought, oh man, is that just tempting? That sounds like, come on, bring it on. And no, I don't want that. Don't bring it on. I don't need another year like this last year or two, for sure. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna take a moment to unclog my glue and I'll be right back. Okay, I decided on a paper for the inside cover, and this is also, it's from Hobby Lobby. It's a real thick cardstock. It's called watercolor or something or another. It's Hobby Lobby's Paper Studio stuff. But that's what I cut the 2023 out of. So I thought, well, why not? I mean, I have tons of the actual scrapbook paper, like snowflake type stuff. Not the same stuff as this, but I have other that, you know, some shade of blue or whatever, but one 6x6 sheet won't cover both of these. That's what we've already seen for the cover. So I figured I would just use some 8.5 and 11, 8.5 by 11. I'm cutting them on one side, pre-cutting them on one side, and then I'm not brave enough to do the other side, even though I know the dimensions. But that means if you cut it perfectly, then that means you have to glue it perfectly. So you see my dilemma there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use, I think I want a little of the pink showing, because most that pink got cut off of there. I want a little bit of this, gives me a little bit of all the colors, and then I can do the opposite down on the back. Wait, that is the front, right? Yes. So if I glue this down, I'm still gonna have to trim it along the outside a little bit, because this must just be, I must have cut this a hair under 7. By the time you allow for that, you know, you gotta give yourself enough room to be able to fold in the, yeah, so I actually should have cut another, actually I'm going to do, actually I'm going to do that. I've stopped and started this video so many times, I'm not exactly sure where I left off. I think the phone cut off, or my camera cut off when I was gluing these inside pages in. So I am now in filming from a different room, trying to create a space that I can at least video, you know, in a room with a closed door. Anyway, I am working hard to get some sort of legit craft space back. So we've been moving things, shuffling things, unearthing things. You know, probably in the last year, a little over a year ago. Anyway, I packed up, well, I didn't, but my helper packed up all of my journaling supplies, and because it was just too frustrating for me to attempt to do anything with that. And so needing space, needing, you know, whatever, being in a, you know, wheelchair and having to use a walker, things like that, you have to kind of tend to have to get your space prioritized. And you know, my crafting just couldn't be that at that moment. So which is fine, you know. But now I'm trying to get everything back and situated. So that's kind of where I am in my life, but also with this journal. I now have, yay, look, I have the cover, the outside, the inside. I'm gonna glue, I haven't decided what I'm doing here. I did find a piece of Tyvek envelope. Thinking about doing that, but we'll see. I don't have a whole lot of time this morning. I'm just trying to finish this cover, and then I don't think, at least as of right now, I don't know that I plan to bind this on camera. I would like to test this out. The room that I'm in right now, it's not, the lighting I don't think is the greatest, so I have some alternate lighting in here, but I don't have, I just want to kind of test it out and see how it's going. And I also need to just do it and get, because now we're the morning of the 3rd, and I'm not going to say behind, I'm behind, but now I'm 3 days into this journal, and I'm still fiddling with the cover, but, you know, that's okay, it's where I am. So I'm going to glue these down. I think I like, oh wait, but wait. I don't have my markers in here. I was going to shade these numbers. Let me see what I can find real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I got out a couple of my markers. This is just I got a shade of blue violet or purple, a shade of blue, and a couple of shades of gray. And I'm just, ooh, I don't normally do this with my Copic markers, but they were the easiest to grab. And let's see if, I think there'll be enough. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to try the chisel end. I rarely ever use the chisel end of these markers, so if they were to get a little messed up, I wouldn't be too sad, because I really don't want to have to get out my inks, like the Distress inks and my ink blenders and all that. The markers just tend to be easier. I'm going to see if I think this is going to be enough. If not, I'm going to cut out a white strip. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I think it's going to work. If I can pick this up. And this marker might not be dark enough. I might need to add, there we go. Be a little more generous with it maybe. So, while I'm doing this, let's see, go back to the topic of word for the year, journaling goals. What else were we talking about earlier? Like I said, right now my first journaling goal is to get this journal made, and then my second journaling goal is to put something in it. I don't know, like I said before, I don't know that I'm ready to commit to something every day, but I'm going to try. I'm just going to keep my expectations real so I don't get frustrated and, you know, and quit. Don't intend to, and I wouldn't have before. I just wasn't expect to go through such a life-altering see, I jumped the track there. Wasn't expecting to go through such a life-altering event, and you know, that really kept me from doing a lot of things that I like. Well, I'm making a mess of that 0. I was thinking about coming back and putting something shiny on here, like sparkly, like stickles, or I have like a shimmer pen. Ooh. I just thought of something. It's not here at my ready, but that is the problem with this, is where I am, with the room I'm in right now. I don't have all my supplies, which I'm thinking that might be helpful to some degree, because I have to really decide my supplies before I come in and make. So I was hoping that would be a good thing, and to start a new trend, or not a trend, but with myself. That way I don't have so many options. I'll have to fix that one, or not. I don't have to. But I think that does help it stand out a little bit more, and we're going with it. Let's see. Okay. Back to gluing, and back to, let's see. Uh-oh, I just bent my W. All right, I'm going to put glue on this, and then we're going to make this permanent, a permanent arrangement. So, let's see. I don't even know if I'm in camera. Okay, one more time. Let's try to talk about journal goals. And obviously I can't hear you if you're telling me your journal goals. I can only just, talk about mine. But I'd love to hear yours. If you want to drop them in the comments, that would be wonderful. If you have any suggestions or ideas, or maybe if you've started and stopped, and for whatever reason or another, maybe you have some words of not just encouragement, words of advice as to, how to pace myself, how to, something like that, or for whoever else is watching. And let's see. I've started some, like I was saying, the word of the year, trying to figure out how to incorporate that into my journal. And honestly, to me, that's not as important as incorporating it into my everyday life. So that's why I assume it will bleed over into my journal, right? Because if it's part of your everyday, then it will, hold on, I gotta be selfish and tilt it up a little bit. Okay. If it's part of your everyday life, it'll eventually roll into your journal, I would think. But maybe it's more of just a mindset, too. I probably should have started in the center and spaced my way. That's okay. This is not perfect. This doesn't have to be perfect. And let's see. I want to keep that. I don't want to hide that. I like that one, well, two, I guess, snowflakes. Let me get my alignment right. I think I'm going to have to glue this while I'm first, so I don't run myself off the page here. Oh, and I can't wait to show you that, the Brother Scan & Cut. Of course, you might already have one, and if you do, I have not even explored all the ways that I can use them. What I originally wanted them for was stamps that I have no dies. Because I have, in the absence of journaling, I have started back, the craft that I started back with was card making. It felt more achievable to me. I don't want to say less of a commitment, like I'm afraid of commitment. That's not it. It's the fact of I needed wins in my life. I needed short-term, tangible things that I felt accomplished, because so much of my world I wasn't feeling, accomplished. I wasn't feeling like I was making progress, and I really needed to feel that way about something. And, well, especially in your crafting world, because, that's supposed to be fun, right? It's not supposed to be physical therapy. And, it's supposed to be some sort of creative release, not something that causes you more frustration. So the card making, though that had its frustrating moments, it was smaller bites of achievements. And so anyway, but I have a lot of stamps that have I don't have dies to cut them out. So I had been watching some card makers, and one of them, Nicole Spores, she uses a Brother Scan and Cut. It'll basically scan whatever your image is and cut it out. I'm like, yeah, sign me up, without a computer, because I have 2 silhouettes, and I loved them at one point in time, but I don't love my laptop, and I can't really use the silhouette without the laptop, or if you can, I don't know how. So that was my original thing, but then it comes with some preset patterns and words, and then you can use any of the text or numbers or whatever. So that's how I cut this out, and it was so easy. Just one single machine, the screen on it, you know, you don't have to attach a computer or whatever. So that was fabulous. Let's see. I did I could use the white tape here. I would have to double it, which is okay. That's gonna really, yeah, I really need this spine to be pretty thick. I was debating on putting another piece of something right here, and then putting the tape on it. That's gonna make it really hard for me to punch through that, but I think I need to do it. I think I need to do it this way. Well, I don't want to see that, but actually, you know what? I really think the fact that I ended up using a Life cereal box, and I'm almost tempted to leave this just to remind me, you know. I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but you know, life, you know, that kind of thing. I think I'm gonna, yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. Do it. Just do it. I am actually, I've started some new things. I've been struggling with purpose. I'm sure that we all do from time to time. When you can't do the things you used to do, you feel useless. Well, that's just the bottom line, right? Well, I did. I don't know if you do, but didn't, you know, so much of our value, I guess, gets wrapped up in what we can do and can't do. And that was never more in my face than in this last year. So I've really struggled with it. And then as I started getting better, actually, even before this happened, I was looking to volunteer somewhere. I used to be in the social service industry, so, you know, my helper heart, or my servant heart, I guess, is just aching to do something that feels helpful and worthwhile. And crafting wasn't cutting it. Gardening wasn't cutting it. I needed more. And then when this all happened, and then I really just couldn't do that. So I have recently, ooh, that feels much better. I recently started volunteering at a clinic. It's a free clinic. It is sponsored by our church, and or, you know, a large church in this area, or a couple of them actually. And it offers free medical, dental, and some other services to people who do not have insurance. So it's totally free. It's all volunteer based. All the doctors, all the nurses, the staff, they only have a few paid staff. And I am loving it. I really am loving it. And I am actually heading there in just a little while. All right, am I covering up the life or not? To cover or not to cover? If I put the tape, it's going to look like this. I'll have to double it, so I'll overlap. Yeah, I think I need to. I don't think I want that in my face all the time. Let's see, I'm trying to oh, it's still going to be visible. Okay, well, that works. It's still going to be a little visible up there. Anyway, so I am heading to there in just a few minutes, but I thought I wanted to finish this video because when I come back, my niece is going to be back and helping me do a few more things. Wait a minute. I want to make sure I know. Okay. I'm trying to do it somewhat even, not like totally. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want, so I've done them before where I've had this much on this side and this much on that side. And I know even though the signature will be here, you won't see it too much, but you still see it. I know it's there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I winkled it. I winkled it. Anyway, so I am volunteering about, well, they were closed for the 2 weeks around the holidays. And then I'm, I do not have all my tools in here, so we're making do. But anyway, I'm really, really enjoying it. And I know that helping people isn't about helping yourself necessarily, but I think it does. I think the quickest way to get out of the hole that you're in is to help someone else out of theirs. And, you know, I've just always believed that. And, you know, if you're upset or depressed, or when I have been, sometimes that's not always easy to do, but sometimes that's helped me out of the hole I was in, or the funk I was in, whatever word you want to use. But I'm also grateful that, because as I found, there's no better volunteer deterrent than having to use an assistive device like a walker or wheelchair. I guess people just assume that you can't do things, or I do understand that there are certain things. I wasn't trying to volunteer to go climb skyscrapers or, you know, hike a mountain or whatever. But I'm grateful that this group saw what I had to offer with my mind and not just with my body, or what I didn't have to offer with my physical self. So I'm glad, you know, so glad about that. Okay, I'm glad that I did this, because this feels, I know you can't see it, but that feels so much better. And with that wide of a spine, I was afraid not to have it be real stiff, so it's pretty stiff right there, so I'm glad. Again, I said I'm not going to bind it on camera. My hand works, but it's still not 100%, so I don't want to jab my fingers and bleed on camera, and, you know, and who needs to see that anyway? There's plenty of videos where people are sewing in signatures. I have one that I've messed up. It's still there. I still put it on video. And but for now, I'm gonna sign off, and I'm going to finish this. And when I come back, I want to go through some of these things, my baskets that I had with all my journaling supplies in it and things like that we're getting out of boxes. And also, I want to start working in the pages, so I'm just going to bind it real quick and head to my volunteer position. I'm working a shift this morning, and then I will see you back later. Hopefully it will be a completed or finished structurally, and I'll be actually working in it. So I hope y'all are having a wonderful day, and I hope to hear from all of you. And I hope to be back very soon with a workable journal and actually putting things in it. So I will sign off for now, and y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.